Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday, December 10th, and welcome back to the Nick Watkins Show. I'm Nick Watkins. This is the 99th episode of our show, and unfortunately, we're going to have to rush this one out because something big happened, and I want to talk about it before I go to work, not afterwards. Before we get to that, though, let's just say the Sharks played yesterday. I was unable to watch it because Comcast sucks, and they upped their prices for NBC Sports Bay Area in California. We are looking into other options. We will be able to watch the Warriors, Sharks, and definitely the Giants. We need to make sure we can watch that. My hair is still drying. Just got out of the shower. But the Sharks lost to the Flyers yesterday, 4-1. Unfortunate. We ended up scoring first. Colin Graff, his second lead-taking goal in the first period in as many games. And then the Flyers scored the next four. The goalie for us was Nedeljkovic again, so maybe Askarov can do a little bit better if he goes on Thursday, which is against the Toronto Maple Leafs, a good team. Okay, that's the Sharks. That's the next game. The Warriors, obviously, or not obviously, but in case you don't know, do not play until Friday, so we got some time to talk about baseball. And the big move that happened, another big free agent, offensive free agent, came off the board, I guess. Actually, we got so much to talk about for baseball. We'll start with that, though. The Mets lose their first baseman. Pete Alonso, the all-time home run leader for the Mets, is gone to Baltimore. He went to the Orioles. This is a big signing. It's for 5 years, $155 million, which is $5 more million than Schwarber got. So basically, what that means is Pete Alonso's defense is worth $1 million per year because Schwarber is a DH and Alonso is a first baseman, and that is fair. I mean, we're not here to talk about Alonso's defense. Here to talk about his offensive stats. He hit 272, 170 hits. He drove in 126 RBIs, which is second in the league, 38 homers, eighth in the league. And he hit 41 doubles, which is third in the league. I thought it was first. No, tied for third. He was up there for a while though, and he played. How many games did he play? I don't know, but he was sixth in at bats, 624. I believe the stat is this is a guy who missed like 7 games over 7 years or something like that. That's not right. 7 games over 6 years. This would be his sixth year. Remember, he came onto the scene in 2019, broke the all-time rookie home run record. And he's a dog, man. He's two-time home run derby champion. He takes that so seriously. Pete Alonso, he's a great player. First base defense is questionable. It's kind of iffy, but when he is not getting 126 runs, you put up with the defense. And I think this is very interesting on both sides. For the Orioles, they get a premier first baseman, probably the best first baseman in the league. I mean, you got Freeman, Matt Olson. I mean, Vladdy. Vladdy's probably the best, actually. I changed my mind on that. But Alonso is up there. He's top 5, probably top 3 in terms of first baseman in the league. He has pop. He mashes. His worst year, he hit 38 home runs. And he's got slug, he's got pop, he's a presence, and this is a good signing for the Orioles. You remember the Orioles last year, not good. They did not have a good record, but the year before that, they won over 100 games, I believe. I want to just double check that just to make sure. Okay, so this year they were 75 and 87. Okay, last year they did not win over 100 games. They went over 90 games. They were 91 and 71 in 2024. Lost in the wild card, and the reason for their decline was the loss of Corbin Burns and a lot of their starting pitching depth left. And then obviously Gunnar Henderson didn't have or not Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman didn't have as great as a year. Then Santander left. He wasn't a factor for the Blue Jays, the team he went to. But if you look at this, the Orioles are basically saying, "Hey, 2024 was not a fluke. That is who we are, and we are getting this premier player to get back to that point." So I think it's a good signing. It's a good message. I'm excited to see what else the Orioles are going to do because Alonso is a great player, but that's not enough to get back to 91 and to compete in this loaded division. I mean, basically every team except the Rays. No offense to the Rays. The Rays are a decent team, and they're the worst team in the AL East, which says something. If they went to a different division, like if the Rays went to the Central, they'd probably be competing for the playoffs. So yeah, the Yankees, Blue Jays, Red Sox, Orioles, all these teams are now, loading up, trying to get players. So good signing for the Orioles. For the Mets, this is crushing because Alonso is a franchise guy, face of the franchise for many years. Like I said, he last year he passed Strawberry for the all-time home run leader for the Mets, and now he's gone. So the polar bear will be going to Baltimore. I think this is a crushing winter meeting week for the Mets. They lost their closer and their first baseman. And obviously, those are holes they're going to have to replace. And, they're probably not going to replace those two guys, but you got to fill that void somehow. Having Juan Soto and Lindor helps a lot. But, they traded Nimmo for Simeon, and then they lost their first baseman and closer. Now, the silver lining for the Mets is that just opened up $60 million. And $60 million is a ton of money. Okay, if you look at what Juan Soto is making, it's like 73, 72 million a year, which is absurd, by the way. What the Yankees were able to do with that money that they would have had to pay Juan Soto, they used that to sign Fried, Bellinger, and Grisham, among others, who were all key players on that Yankee team last year, especially Bellinger. He was their second best offensive player. So for the Mets, you take this $60 million, which is a buttload of money, and you can use that money on other players, not necessarily the big guys, or you could go after Kyle Tucker if you wanted to. I mean, you could probably pay him his annual salary with that $60 million, and probably some other smaller players as well roped into that, because he's probably gonna be making like 60 million. Well, he probably will be making 60 million. So probably that would be, you could use that for Kyle Tucker. You could use that for Bregman, or a little bit more for Bregman. A little bit less actually for Bregman. Or you can go and you can sign smaller players with $60 million. $60 million is a ton of money. They can use those funds to go after other free agents that they think could help their team. So I think the Mets, and Steve Cohen, owner of the Mets, he is filthy rich. And he is not afraid to spend. We've seen that. Juan Soto, not afraid to spend. That's the biggest contract. He probably wasn't worth that much money. He was probably worth less than Ohtani, yet they gave him more money than Ohtani. So that shows what the Mets are doing. So yeah, two big losses for the Mets. Not just on the field, but also what Alonso brings to the clubhouse and brings to the team. It's going to be unfortunate. They're going to be sad about it. But depending on how they use those funds that they just regained, I think it could work out very well for them. I also think it's worth noting that Alonso wasn't like dying to get out of New York like Diaz was. I think this was a case of he wanted to get paid. The Orioles were willing to pay him. So, now he's just going to go to Baltimore and he's going to take the money. He's going to play for them. What did this mean for the Giants? Nothing much. At least Alonso gets out of the division. Or not the division, but the league. And let's just speak of the Giants real quick. We got like a couple minutes left. Less than that. The Giants 81 and 81 last year. Somehow we have the number 4 pick in the draft. This is huge news. When we took Buster 6th overall, Bum was 10. I think Timmy was like 5 or 7 or something like that. 4th overall pick. That's super high. The last year's 4th overall pick was Ethan Holiday, Matt Holiday's kid, Jackson Holiday's brother. You can get a really, really good prospect with that pick. That is awesome news. Obviously, I don't know too much about the prospects, but I think Vitello would know something about it. I think Buster would know something about it. I think we're gonna make a great pick in the summer. I can't wait for that pick to happen. I was happy with who we took last year with 11, Gavin Keelan, and now we have the 4th overall pick, which is fantastic. So that's gonna have to do it for today's episode. Nobody from the Bay Area is playing today. We don't have any football tonight. But we have lots of baseball news. We'll keep our eyes and ears peeled. our eyes peeled. I don't know what the ears do. They tune in, I guess. Winter meetings. Wow, big signings. Schwarber, Diaz, Alonso, and who knows? Maybe some other players will come off the board and sign with free agent teams. Now the ball is starting to get rolling, right? This is two big ones. We'll see if Bregman, Tucker, some other guys go as well. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.